Hello everybody and welcome to VEGTV. I'm your host, Ben Colder. Who's Ben Colder? Anybody know? Today we're just going to do a first look at this Magnavox F18. Sounds like a fantastic name for a jet airplane. This is a AM/FM tabletop radio, and it's a rather large radio, as you can see right there by this yardstick, how much it encompasses it. And that's in that's rated in metric ton, by the way. Found this fantastic radio at my local secondhand store, and it was just a few shillings on sale, so I went ahead and brought it home. Very nice radio, fairly clean. Has a nick or two, as you can see, on top of the radio and the face. It's really nothing major. We have some brazing going on here. You could see it in the video how it's kind of rubbed, and then we get on over to here, and it's starting to get a little nicer, the coat on it. There's some brazing down here, but I don't think it's going to take much to bring this cabinet back. I don't know if I'm gonna take it down and rebuild it up, or just leave it alone with its few battle scars and touch up with a stain pen and clean it up that way. Another coat, wax or something, and just leave it at that, which is probably what I'll end up doing. This is what the inside of the back looks like. I would show you the back side, but there is a sticker on here from a local shop, which is rather surprising because it's dated 2006. So somebody has either looked at it or has serviced it in that time frame. However, with that said, I don't know if the radio works. I bought it untested, unknown. You see, I wasn't ready for this section of the video. It takes one of these plugs, and somebody had snipped it right there at the base. If you have a source for this, or you know what these cords are called, I would appreciate your help. I've only found a couple on eBay, and they weren't exactly clipped like that. I wouldn't mind having an exact replacement. Thing is, the few that I found, they wanted $20 for a mains cord, and I thought that was actually kind of retarded, and I don't know if I want to spend $20 on a cord. However, I guess if I want the original style, I will. I've toyed with the idea of maybe swapping it out for something more easy exchangeable, replaceable. A two-prong quick disconnect, or maybe a modern three-prong computer-style type cord. I know it's got a name. I don't know its name. It's EIEIO or something like that. So let me swing this around to the back. And you can see just in this lighting how nice this cabinet really is. I really like the cabinet. And the few dings I'm okay with. This has chassis number 58-Z2-ZZ. I can find the the service manual for Z1, not Z2, and I do have that. So hopefully there's not too many changes if I need to do anything to this radio. I want to bring it up. Like I said, I don't have a proper cheater cord, and I've taken a modern day radio plug and tried fitting it on there, but it just was not deep enough, and I could whittle it down to make it work, but then I'm also taking a chance of maybe not quite as safe. However, my testing on this is going to be even less safe than that. And we'll do the rest of the tour of the radio. And we do have sticker here, this sticker here does not say what model number it is. And then we got that sticker. Luckily, when I did a Google search, an evil Google search of Magnavox tabletop radios from the 60s, this popped right up within the first row of pictures. So I was able to identify it really, really quick. And then once I took the back off, as Gomer Pyle would say, golly, we do have another sticker right there, which is the same on the bottom, and it does declare what model this is. So that's very helpful. You can see we got that really nice big speaker in there. Kind of resembles a speaker that you'd find in an automobile at about the same time, or thereabout. Very clean radio. Now, in order to pull this cabinet out, I have these screws on the bottom, and then I need to pull the knobs off. Knobs, as you see, are a little cloudy, so I'm hoping soap and water will fix that. I don't really want to use any chemical on this. The face panel here is all intact, the silk screening. I don't really see at this point any major brazing, if any. I do have a lot of dirt, a lot of black around here. This is the volume on-off. And then over here, I believe this is the tone control. I say believe, like I said, I haven't fired this up. This radio is pretty much all-inclusive outside of the AC cord, but it is minus a strip right here, which declares which one of these, what these knobs do. Now, this radio does offer civil defense markings, as you can see right there, and one knob. So it's really cool. I like it. That's really nice and easy to spin, nice and easy to turn. Almost like gear reduction, but I don't think it is. I think it's just really, really good. Really cool. We'll find out once we tear open this radio. Let me do just that. We'll get the chassis out on the workbench. We'll take Jack's cheater cord. Nope, not that one. This one. And we'll tap into the mains input, run this up to the isolator variac control, and we'll hook it up that way. Fire it up for the first time on camera and see if we could watch the magic smoke disappear, this blow up into a fantastic fireball. I have all the screws removed from the bottom, all four of them. It was rather exhausting. I had to take a nap. And I got all the knobs removed. They came off fairly easy. And they all have these little felt pads behind them. Help keep brazing down. And as you can see right here, they did a fantastic job at doing that. And you can see how filthy this control is. You can see, you know, just by the amount of dirt, which knob got used the most. So I'm hoping that'll clean up really, really nice. And so let me go ahead and spin this around, and we'll pull this out for the first time, and who knows how long. Well, we do know, since at least 2005. So that's kind of dumb to say. Alright, so it looks like the speaker is going to stay behind. I know at this camera angle you can't see, but the speaker just unclips and self to note, note to self or something like that. Light green wire up top and dark green wire at the bottom. So here's a better look at the cabinet. And here's the chassis. We'll take a peek here in just a moment. Or I mean, up underneath we'll look. All right, so we have a 7-tube radio here. Has a 50EH5 for the power output. It has a 12AV6 for the audio amp. It has a 12AL5 for the FM detector. Has a 12BA6 and well, actually has two of those for AM/FM amplifier. Has another 12BE6 for the AM conversion and a 12DT8 for the FM RF amp and conversion. That almost sounds like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm cheating because the case tells me exactly what it has. But for a moment there, I sounded pretty doggone good. And there it is. We have our bar antenna up here. Actually, it's pretty nice. We got a nice coil here, and then we got a little coil over there. We have an RCA tube here, Magnavox tube here, and that's a Magnavox. And I really can't make out the rest right. So I'll worry about that later. Like I think I started to say in the first part of the video what my intention was, and that's just basically to fire this up to check its status. I don't know how far I'm going to get with a rebuild or anything like that. This is going to be an introduction video. We have bunch of numbers there stamped on the side. I don't know what that represents. Maybe employee number. I don't know. Chassis looks good and clean. I think this might be a hot chassis. I think this is a audio transformer of sorts. Nice looking circuit board. I don't really see anything that jumps out that says, hey, I need attention. And then we have this mess down here. Again, looks really good. And that tuning cap is really smooth. And then we have this section of the radio here. We got this right here. So I need to see the schematic to see what this is. As you see, we do have some corrosion right there on the wire and going up into here. That could be why the cord was snipped, for safety reasons. And if you notice, we got a big stamp right here. I believe that's going to be the date. And then on the top side of the radio, top side of the board, that's it for components. Let's go for broke, shall we? Let's see what happens. We'll bring it up slowly. Now, this next step I must preference to those that are watching that are less experienced at this than I am. And by that I mean I am not a professional. I do not work on tube-type gear. Tube-type gear is very lethal. If you screw up and you do it wrong, it could kill you, and it'll kill you dead. So just take heed that it's not a video game. You will not come back. If you do this, you're doing it at your own risk and you take 100% responsibility. Make sure you have the proper tools at doing so. Isolation variac transformer is set to 0 and it's powered off. We're going to now power it on. I have no voltometers connected to it anywhere for no reason whatsoever. In fact, I don't even have a speaker. I need a speaker. It's probably going to be the wrong ohmage, but like AC/DC once said, let there be rock. Now, we are ready. Throw a main switch right now, and this is in the off position. I'm going to turn this on. Turn it up somewhat. Now I'm going to start turning up the voltage. There's going to be no camera on that gauge, so we'll just holler it out to you. So right there's 10 volts, there's 20 volts, there's 30 volts. Remember, I am not a tube radio guy, I'm not a tube guy at all. And you would think with all the Shingo videos and radio phono nut videos and Moslack videos that I would know when to expect voltage to start making these bulbs glow. But I didn't pay that much attention. There's 40 volts, and I'm not seeing anything glowing, smoking, or sizzling. There's 50 volts, 60 volts, and nothing glowing yet. That's 70 volts. I don't even have my dial light illuminated. I know some dial lights could complete the circuit. I haven't really studied the schematic enough to know that on this radio. I don't see anything glowing. 70 volts. I like playing with modern day stuff because it's low voltage and it's not so lethal. Because I tend to stick my fingers in places it shouldn't at times, in electronics as well. Alright, so that's 90 volts. I would think that by now we would have something. The light there would, oh, that light is starting to illuminate. Let me kill this light, see if we could see that. I'll kill this light. And as you can see, we got a little glow there. However, I don't see anything else glowing. Let's go ahead and go to 100 volts. Okay, so there's 100, and still nothing, no tubes glowing. Oops, I lied. That one's glowing. This one's glowing. It's something other than my finger. This one's glowing. That one's glowing. And that's all I'm seeing at this moment. Now we got noise. Nice buzz going. Kind of interesting. The dial light when I change bands. I just have that buzz. I have no static. Ah.
Elaborado con el esfuerzo y cariño.
Tone control, volume, or on-off tone control, and volume.
Nuestra paisana y colega, que también está a cargo de los controles. Hoy tenemos por aquí un invitado muy especial, por lo menos sabemos que nos va a escuchar uno. Aquí está Chris Ward. O sea, así que muchas gracias por su presencia. Chévere, siempre este programa está a tu orden. Adelante, Karen. Politician or judge and ask. just and handicap.
Entre los Reyes y los Atléticos.
Los gigantes de San Francisco no avanzaron a la postemporada, pero cerraron con broche de oro al decirle.
All right, so let me go ahead and take this up a little higher in voltage. Like I said, this is 100 volts. Let's go ahead and it's about 105 right there.
Sí, las mujeres.
Sí, Mar Roja de Venezuela, nuestra paisana, 23 años nada más. Ya tiene 4 mundiales, 2 en pistas cubiertas y 2 al aire libre. Ella compitió hoy en Doha hace pocas horas y logró uno de los mejores récords, una de las mejores marcas de la historia.
Now, the first explanation has the most weight of tradition behind it. That's what most people think. But no matter who... Very active
concerning the Ukraine. Well, it turns out that 18-foot python caught in Florida last month, well, it is the second largest snake ever found in the state. The 99-pound female was caught on September 22nd in Florida's Big Cypress National Preserve. You're listening?
Let's try FM. There, it's not very loud though.
Hey Alexa, I don't know. I don't have...
We're back on AM.
Although there are those that are eager to see it be gone.
And is this still a successful season for the Rays?
Well, I mean, it is because they answered any doubts that we tratamos, tú sabes, pero tenían que perder y lamentablemente.
You know, it's really interesting. There's no buzz, no filter cap buzz. But there's my static.
Lo más uno puede y
We receive an inability to detect his will.
And then the police also located a backpack they said contained marijuana and Xanax pills. And a search of him, his person, produced a small baggie of powder, which also was cocaine. And here's my dog ate my homework while he was being...
Okay, very cool. Well, outside of getting the AC cord for this, pulling the tubes out, testing them, see how strong they are, going through with a voltometer, testing components, make sure they're in spec, and maybe a tune-up. I think this radio would be just ducky. I think this is going to be a really, really nice table radio. Side of my bed, I have a vintage Sony. If you've watched all of my videos, or at least in the beginning, you'll notice my very first repair video is a Sony tabletop, and that radio has been on the side of my bed since that video was created. I might go ahead and service this one and replace the Sony and see how this one does. Test it out anyway. We'll go ahead and conclude part 1 of this video now, and when I get ready to come back with part 2, we'll pick it up from there. I'll probably just run through everything off camera, try to keep the video as short as possible. I know this first section is kind of long, and we'll go from there. You're probably saying, well, why not now? Well, I have back surgery coming up here really, really soon, and so I'm just trying to get through a bunch of videos so I have some kind of content while I'm down, and either easy to edit or at least to post. So that's the Scooby-Doo on that. Anyway, I will quit saying so. I'm trying to break myself from that habit. So you see, this is, who did I say I was? Ben Colder, signing clear.